They were charging me for 65 hours a week that I was working instead of the 40 that I was actually working. She also constantly brought me into court for show causes and tried to get my license taken away. She tried to get me put in jail.
I'm going to pull your file and look through the whole thing. Court's next call, matter of Ashley Bagby versus David Losvieski Sky, file number 14-15600 DP. Do we have the parties on that matter present?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, sir, can you hear me okay?
I hear you, yep.
All right, thank you. And in front of the court, what is the status of this matter?
This is an arrears only obligation for the defendant with a current balance of $1,657.50. Last payment was received in April of 22 in the amount of $569.29. This is money that is owed to the non-parent custodian and some money that is owed to the state as well.
All right, thank you. Sir, what would you like to say?
Well, this was supposed to be taken care of when the front of the court got, when everybody from the front of the court got let go and replaced. The lady who took over prior to Edward, when I was dealing with this matter, I was being charged way too much money, and the referee prior to yourself was not cooperative. He wouldn't let me contest anything. They were charging me for 65 hours a week that I was working instead of the 40 that I was actually working. And when I was dealing with the new front of the court staff, the lady that was in charge told me that she would take care of it because it was obvious and blatant that I was being charged way too much. And it has nothing to do with Miss Bagby at all. It has to do with her mother, Sonia, who was the caretaker at the time. So her and I were dealing with custody issues at the time, and had nothing to do with Miss Bagby. But this was supposed to be taken care of back then. I didn't even realize this was an issue until my lawyer got a hold of me a few weeks ago and said that I was being called up for a show cause for old arrearages that I was told were going to be taken care of.
All right, well, what do you mean by taken care of? Somebody told you they were going to be wiped away?
Yes.
All right. And how did that communication take place? Was that by email, phone call?
Phone call, yeah. And also in person when I came into the office. I came in and
How
sat
long ago
down.
are you saying that conversation took place?
I'm sorry?
How long ago are you saying that conversation took place?
That was prior to me getting custody of Brixton a few years back. So.
And you're saying that they had calculated your hours based on 65 hours of work that you weren't doing?
That I was not doing, right. I was working 40 hours, not 65. The lady who was in charge of the front of the court at the time had a major problem with me for some reason. I never did anything wrong to that lady at all, but she hated me.
Did you file a formal motion to address the support amount, or just had a conversation?
I filed a formal motion prior to the lady taking over, and I was basically, when I came into court in front of the referee, they both just dismissed me, wouldn't even talk to me about it. And that was when I was in person in the courtroom, right in front of the referee and the front of the court lady. They basically told me that, tough, you can't, they told me that I couldn't object to it. Which is, I found out is completely wrong. And the lady that took over the front of the court, when that lady got fired, she told me that I should have been able to challenge that because I had all my pay stubs and everything that stated 40 hours, not 65, and I could prove that I was only working 40 hours. I had all that stuff in court, and she said that she could take care of it, but we had some major issues going on that made this look kind of minor, so I understand why it would have been forgotten.
What is your intent moving forward? You're saying you're not going to pay because you're under the understanding that you don't need to pay?
I don't believe that I should have to pay anything. I don't believe that I owe the money, and I don't believe that I should have been charged in the first place for 65 hours when I was working 40, and I gave sufficient evidence that I was working 40. My employer at the time sent in numerous copies of my hours, and it was just a personal thing that the lady had with me. I don't know what it was, but she wanted to just charge me for everything. She also constantly brought me into court for show causes and tried to get my license taken away. She tried to get me put in jail. She tried everything she could under the sun for some reason. I never
Are you
did
making any payment at all, or
What's that?
are you making any payment, or you just made no payments? Did you
I'm
make
sorry.
some payments? Did you make some payments? It's not the total amount?
No, I was making my payments were being taken out of my check until I got custody. Once I got custody, then the payments stopped, but
Correct.
I was under the impression that this was going to be taken care of. And I
You
wasn't
weren't
gonna-
making the monthly amount that was ordered? Is that what you're saying?
I was, yeah.
All right. I think we're talking two different languages, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjourn your matter out. I'm going to pull your file and look through the whole thing.
Okay.
Try and figure out what you're saying happened and when. We'll see if there's any case notes. This was money owed to a third party
Yes.
while the child was parties
Sonia Wagner.
custody. I'm going to take a look at the best I can from the information I can find in the files as to what you were ordered to pay, when payments were made, and those type of information. And we'll come back September 16th. I'll see what information I can find, and I'll still give you the right, if we need an evidentiary hearing or something on the matter, we can address that. So I'm going to adjourn your case to September 16th. Any questions, sir?
Would you like me to come in person or do Zoom again?
No, these are all by Zoom.
Okay.
If you believe you have any sort of messages, emails on the subject, you're certainly free to get those and provide them to the front of the court in advance. Ms. Bagby, obviously this support matter doesn't involve payment to you. Do you have any questions or anything that you'd like to say?
I would like to say that I do believe David. He's absolutely correct as far as Francine Zisk and Scott Beatty. Our case got very, very confusing in 2022, and I myself was overpaying. My mother is the third party. Francine Zisk was ordered to abate my obligation because I was living with my mother, and she refused to do that for 2 years. So if Mr. Leshevsky says that Francine said she would help him and then she refused to, and then with the new friend of the court staff coming in, our case was very, very confusing, and I was living with my mother at the time. David was making his payments, and custody did change. I hope that you take into consideration my problems and frustrations with Scott Beatty and Francine Zisk too. She opened up multiple friend of the court payment cases towards me without proper information, trying to state that I had 3 different children when I only have 1. And our case did turn very messy because
So I will take a look at his matter. We'll come back October. I'll see what I can find.
I absolutely believe everything that he's saying, and I don't believe he owes anything.
Well, we'll see what was calculated at. We'll address that certainly on the 16th. I don't have all that information in front of me, so I will adjourn this out to give me a chance to take a look at all that information, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you both for appearing. You are free to sign off.
Thank you.
Thank you.